That seemed like such a good spot to end the song. Oh my God, if we're not hyped now, then I don't know what's going on. If not at this point, we're all gonna have to do some jumping jacks. Welcome to Feature Friday this morning. We have Steph on. I'm so excited to have her on. It's been a while. But Steph, I'm gonna let you share your screen. Hold on a
Like,
sec.
what a song. I feel like I need some espresso shots or something now. Like, that was
Like, we
wild.
were all at the club.
Holy, were we ever this morning? Okay, I'm gonna share my screen here. Let me. Oh, lovely. Oh, crow. Sorry, I had to put on some permission settings here. Oh gosh, now it's asking me for passwords. SG should have done a trial run on this one.
That's okay. Here, I'll just make you a co-host. Just don't worry about the attendance. I'll take care of that part. You just focus on you. You should definitely be able to share now. Are you frozen? Did I lose you?
Back. Technical difficulty.
I think I may have lost Steph. MIA.
In the meantime, any good news, folks? Who's got showings this weekend?
I'm back. I'm back here.
There she is. Never mind. Anna's got her hand up.
Okay, ask
My
us that
Saturday's
question.
filling up.
Now I lost my presentation. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. Fully back. Here we go. Did I lose Zoom again?
No. No, you're here.
Okay, perfect. Share screen. There we go. Let's just do this. Share. Okay.
Amazing.
See me? You see me? Okay, awesome.
You do. You're good to go.
Everyone's busy today. Okay. I can't see anything, so if you have questions, just shout them out. All right.
I can help with that part too.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so deal diary feature today. I'm going to talk about, deals. They don't just happen, and for me, they're built through communication, and we're just kind of sharing on Fridays how we're doing deals in this more challenging market. And yeah, so just kind of to cap it off, everyone, we're all working realtors in this market, so we all know there's some realities of it, and maybe longer days on market. Properties on average, depending on the area, are sitting maybe 20 to 30% longer than they were the previous year. We're seeing a lot more price adjustments on listings, so strategic price improvements are becoming more essential now than ever. And I've also noticed, obviously, there's a lot of buyer hesitancy and seller expectations. They're often misaligned right now. So you'll see like stalemates, ones that sit on the market for a long time, slower sales, and more listings sitting as buyers kind of wait and those sellers are holding out firm. But I think the important piece here is that deals are still happening if you approach them with the right systems and the right mindset. So for me, and my, I guess, secret weapon in this more challenging market is listings and lots of listings. So why that's kind of worked for me is it allowed being listing focused. It allows me and puts my business kind of in the driver's seat. So I have a mix of like whether it be residential, commercial, different price points. Ultimately, by having a variety of listings over various market areas and price points, it's shaping conversations on price, positions me, and I'm not just responding to the market. Okay, so the more inventory you hold, it's more predictable and scalable. Your business becomes. So it allows for a steady lead stream, and builds, I guess, more of a reputation as an agent who controls the market and not just participates in it. So I think the biggest thing with having lots of listings is it's a lead magnet essentially. So it's generating quality leads. So not only are you building credibility as a listing agent, but you're attracting buyers through your listings. So it's building that strong pipeline and a steady flow of inquiries and showings and opportunities, which often lead to multiple transactions. So, if a buyer inquires on one of your listings, maybe that property doesn't work out for them, but you help them buy something else. Maybe they need to sell. So again, these kind of multiple chain reactions that can happen as a result of just, one sign call on your listing. And then again, it opens the door to multiple opportunities and referral possibilities. So think of every listing sign as it's an ad, or even your open house signs when you host them. Again, it builds your presence and turns into a marketing magnet, as I call it here. So I have a little note here. So even like we're in a buyer's market. So even when buyers have more power, listings are definitely still lead magnets. So each one fuels your pipeline, builds your credibility, and positions you at the center of more transactions, which is what we all want, right? Yes. Amazing. Okay. So follow up. It's your superpower. I know we've all been, we've heard this. It's been beaten down into us as realtors. It is, and it's the reason it is because it's so important. So having a relentless follow-up strategy is key. And it's not only key with your buyer clients and your seller clients, but I think it's important to have good follow-up and communication as well with co-op agents. So again, it's all about building those lasting relationships and keeping that deal moving forward. So we'll talk a bit about, following up with buyers and sellers, but I think it's important to note like the co-op agents is important too. So as a listing heavy agent, when a co-op agent books a showing on one of my listings, I always text them right away, thank them for booking the showing, ask them if I can answer any questions that they might have before the showing, and then let them know that I look forward to their feedback. I think it's important to set that expectation that I am expecting feedback from them, because ultimately a lot of buyers agents don't give feedback. So I'm just kind of setting the stage that is the expectation. And I often find that by starting that communication before they've even shown the property, it has increased the rate at which I am getting feedback. When in terms of communication too, this is more with your buyer and seller clients. You don't want to just check in. So it's important that our communication, it has value to it. So it's not just, and I've been guilty of this, when you can't think of anything else to say and you're just like, I'm just checking in. How's your summer going? But really the important piece is here, like all of our communication with clients, prospective future clients should have value to it. So as I said, not just that checking in, you provide market insights, pricing strategies, new opportunities, even, I would say, like, I'm going to give the example recently. I had a couple of families that I've been in communication with for a couple of years now in the area. And I know they're not ready to make a move anytime soon, but again, they were due for that touch. So our office is sponsoring a Halloween event in the area later this month. And so I know they're families with young kids. They would really probably enjoy the event. So just that was my checking in, my touch point. It wasn't necessarily a real estate value add, but I knew it would add some fun to their family and they would value maybe coming out for this event. So I shared our flyer for that event and invited them to it as a way to just, again, stay top of mind with them. Because ultimately, if you're not staying top of mind, they will forget about you. And again, follow up equals trust and trust equals deals. So it's all about that consistent communication. We've all been there, done that. Some of us stop too soon. And really, it's important that we stay consistent with that communication, because that consistency compounds over time and it leads to deals. Any questions so far? You guys good? I can't see anyone, so this is great.
We're good.
Nodding and smiling.
Yay. Yeah. Okay. So communication, right? I've already said it a million times. It's everything. So let's talk a little bit about, because I'm listing heavy, the constant kind of communication that I'm giving our seller clients. So with that, it's important that we're, as I said, it's consistent. And so we have a few things on our team, and you guys on the team know this and why they're so important. There are weekly detailed seller reports. So our sellers are getting that once a week. It's kind of a summary of how many showings we've had, what's the feedback been. Of course, I'm giving that the follow-up to our sellers right after the showing, but this is almost like a weekly summary of it, just to remind them we've had this many showings, this has been the feedback, we had an open house, we had this many groups in, this was the feedback. So, and what's currently on the market that they're competing against and what has recently sold. Okay, so we send that out weekly. And it's important that our sellers kind of get that on a weekly basis. And then we also send out another report weekly to show how our properties are performing online. So when the sellers open it up, they're going to see how many views they've had online. And there's a lot of cool, important analytics that, I also summarize in my weekly seller reports to our seller clients, because it's important for them to see like how many views they've had, since they were first listed, how many views have happened in the last week, how many people are favoriting. And favoriting, I always explain to my seller clients, those when the buyers click the heart on the listing, that's them watching. They're watching and waiting to see, and it's often to see if the price changes before they would, take the next step to come in and take a look at the property in person. So immediate showing and open house feedback, which I already stated, and then just keeping on top of any market trends and any changes. So those are kind of the constant communications that I'm giving my seller clients to make sure that they're in the know with what's happening. And not only is it important to kind of keep in communication, but also anticipate any future communications or client needs. So this becomes extremely important with price shift or price improvement conversations. So again, these reports and things that we send out on a weekly basis, they're helping anticipate even any of those future kind of questions your clients might have. So I know we always say with when working with clients, if they've asked you a question and then you were too slow to respond. So basically the golden rule here with communication is if they're never wondering, like if your clients are never wondering what's going on, then you're doing it right. So it's always about being that one step ahead of them and kind of anticipating their needs as well as their questions. Okay, so moving on, I think this is important, especially with working with sellers right now, is setting those expectations early. Okay, so when I'm sitting down with clients, going through listing paperwork, or even before we get to the listing paperwork stage, as part of my CMA appointment, it's highlighting those days on market, the reality of the days on market right now, and having those honest conversations and setting, realistic expectations about timing, in the market that we're in, unless it's like, a super, super cute entry-level price point. They're not going to sell in a couple days. So it's really, again, and every, market is different. If it's a rural property, a waterfront, it's setting that expectation and highlighting how long this is likely going to take, so that when the listing goes live and a week into it and they've only had 2 showings, they're not completely freaking out that it hasn't been busier. Okay. Strategic pricing discussions. So again, very, very important in today's market. It's all about showing that data, having the facts, showing the recent solds, okay? Providing that evidence to your seller clients so that they know exactly why we're pricing and suggesting that we be pricing at the price we are. Pricing is not about wishful thinking. It's about, as I said, reading the market and positioning yourself positioning the property to win. So from day one, you have to have the facts. As I said, the facts are the stats. So even if your person isn't necessarily a stats person, it is still important to share that information with them, because It's the reality of what buyers are paying in the current market, and you only have one chance to make that first impression on the market, and so it's important to get the price right. Okay. And then as part of that setting the expectations early conversation, I call it like the 2 week sit down. So I like to let my clients know ahead of time and prepare them that price improvements, adjustments, we might have to make them based on the market's response to the listing. And I like to call it the 2 week sit down. So again, depending on the property, if it's a regular residential property, I'd probably sit down at that 2 week mark. If it's something more unique, rural, waterfront, we might, give it 30 days and then have a 30-day sit down. And it's really important to have a face-to-face sit down with your sellers. And then again, it's all about showing them that data. I'm showing it to them on a weekly basis through the market reports, but then kind of bringing it all with you, tangible, sit down face to face in front of them and go through it, because the market speaks. And ultimately, smart sellers will listen. So from the moment the listing goes live, again, we are tracking everything from the showings, the feedback, if we've had any offers, the online engagement, and how we're stacking up against competing listings. So sitting down at a table, going through that with them makes the conversation about making a change in the price, improving the price easier. Okay. And then again, setting expectations about showing activity. Okay. So not only how long it's going to be on the market for, but what the showing activity is going to be like. Because if any of you were licensed, and a lot of you were back in the crazy COVID times, like at that point in time, we would tell sellers who are just about to go on the market, if you have a place to stay for the next week, I would advise basically you get out of here, because it's going to be insane. And there's going to be so many showings that it's going to drive you crazy. So it'd be better for you to stay somewhere else temporarily. Whereas now it's completely different. It's like, don't be alarmed. You might have a handful in the first couple weeks here, and then it's going to drop down. You might get one or two every other week. So really, again, just setting the tone and setting those expectations so that your sellers trust you and they feel confident in what's happening, and they're not surprised by, showings that are only occasional. Okay. So again, prepared clients are confident clients, and they trust you. So moving along, collaboration. So we've talked a little bit there about sellers, and as I said, I think another key thing that's really important in getting deals done in today's market is collaborating. So collaborating with those co-op agents. So building strong co-op relationships is building strong trust with other agents, and it's leading to smoother negotiations and ultimately priority consideration for clients in the future. So I've done deals with some agents, and it's just, gone so smooth and so great. So when I encounter that agent again on another deal, for example, I had multiple offers and I'd worked with this agent before, and this actually happened to me recently. We had multiple offers on a property, and one of the agents, I had worked with her on another deal in the past, and it closed. It was fine, but it wasn't a pleasant experience. She was challenging, difficult to deal with. And then I had another offer from an agent I wasn't familiar with, but he was very on the ball. His communication was great. And ultimately, these offers were identical, and my seller had to choose. And I encouraged them to choose the agent that I hadn't worked with before, just knowing the experience I had had with the others. So again, it's important to try and keep those relationships and those interactions with your co-op agents positive, because it could impact you in future deals. So as part of that, being easy to work with, prompt in communication, and solution focused during negotiations, I think is key. It's not, I find it challenging when you're dealing with a co-op agent who's just like, no. And so adamant and set in their ways and kind of bullyish. Like, I'm all for being, a pit bull, as Anna would say, in terms of negotiations when the time's right. But you can still be firm but kind at the same time. And I feel like you get farther with that sort of attitude, because ultimately, in these sort of shifting markets, working together and collaborating is going to create more opportunities. So other agents remember who make deals happen. And again, as I said, that pays off again and again in the future. And okay, one other cool, point that I think is important that really has, I think, helped me get a lot of the listings too, and get referrals from my listing is going above and beyond. So, I'm always staying that one step ahead, which we already always talked about, solving problems before before they come up even. You're kind of proactive planning and anticipating is so key, especially in today's market. Finding that solution-focused approach, and just providing an overall memorable experience. So I don't know, can you guys give me some examples like of listing agents like going above and beyond for your client, kind of creating that memorable experience? I know a lot of us on the team, we're always sharing in our group chat the things that we're doing that are going above and beyond, whether it be gardening and preparing the house. I saw Alex yesterday out there before listing photos, blowing the leaves away, just going that extra step. So many agents wouldn't even show up for photo day. I guess unless they're going to be on camera, they would just send the photographer out. But like Alex was there blowing the leaves. I have a client, I've been watering her gardens for a year now, just, all throughout the summer, making sure everything is beautiful and thriving and staying alive. Can you guys give me some other examples? Anyone else out there? Shout out. What have you been doing?
Yes. For example, like Lake Drive, right? And the deck was really, really, dirty and dusty. So I paid the company to come and to power wash it, and it looked like almost like new. Yes, and obviously it was from my pocket, right? So to make it more presentable, right? And the cleaning, the same, cleaning and sweeping, like even coming before the open house, checking, make sure that the windows are clean. There are no, no any spots. So like even because right now we have lots of leaves, right, coming down.
Yeah.
So it's very important to come early. Like I have pictures today at Privets, and I will go 2 hours before to see if outside plants are good enough for the pictures, right? Otherwise, I would have to rush to that Chinese guys at Baseline to buy some of those for outside.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing mums some fall flowers right now just to add a little bit of extra curb appeal at this time of year is, a great example. And before you know it, the snow will be here. And I can't think of how many times I've seen Deanna out there. Like there's a showing later that day and she's out there shoveling the walkway to make sure clear path, right? So it's taking those extra steps because clients, they remember them, they value them, and it's about delivering that service that makes people want to work with you again, and then they're going to refer you to other friends and family and to work with you too. So
especially with the vacant properties, right? It's very important because people are not here like those cottages, and when you send them pictures, this has happened and this has happened. And like you said, traveling, if you need to before the open house, they really appreciate it.
They do, for sure. Exactly. So just to kind of summarize, my deal making formula for me, again, it's heavy on listings, that relentless follow-up, constant communication, and setting those clear expectations with strong co-op relationships and going that above and beyond service. So this is kind of my formula that I've been leaning into hard this this year through this more challenging and shifting market. So this has helped me to get deals done. And so my final thought for this morning is that, the market doesn't decide whether I succeed. It's my systems, my communication, and relationships that do. So again, remember, real estate's been going on for a long time. Market's been up, down, everywhere. Again, our success isn't just determined by the conditions. It's determined by how we adapt and we communicate and we ultimately serve our clients when the market gets challenging. So go make it happen.
Really love that final thought. It also kind of is a testament to, oh, wow, I'm on the screen like 3 times now. That's wild. I was like, that's a lot of me. But it's also to, it's a mindset too, right? You don't want to, like, if it's not going great, maybe you need to take some responsibility and really push into those things rather than blame the market.
For sure. Absolutely. And I know Miriam talked about that recently on her
Correct.
Friday feature. So yeah, it's mindset's huge too, but I didn't talk too much about it today because I know it's been talked about a lot.
Anna, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that right now, even my clients, like past clients, sending me those negative, news or whatever about the market, about the crash. I don't even open it, and I always say like the market, you know what? There are always buyers and sellers on the market.
Yep, absolutely. Doesn't matter what kind of market. There's always people that have to buy and sell, right?
And we all know the news are always going to be a bit more on the sensationalist side. So we want to take that with a grain of salt too, right? So always caution your clients when they're like, the news are saying, it's like, okay, let's calm down, Brenda. And, and then give a different perspective, because most of the time they just blow things completely out of proportion and it's not even accurate. So
Absolutely.
it's really good to encourage your clients, talk to a specialist like yourselves, right? And get the information firsthand from someone who can show that data and go, look, this is actually what's going on. And for the news, they easily warp that data too, right? So just something to keep in mind.
For sure. Yeah. Definitely.
This was amazing, Steph. I really appreciated you coming on for us this morning. And I know it was a very, very hectic week for you. So I appreciate it even more so that you still came on and showed up for everyone and yourself. So unless there are any other questions, we'll go make incredible things happen. And then we'll see you all next week.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Have a good day,
Steph.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Steph.
Bye.